edge, we're going to have got a cross halving joint today. We're using standard size timber that we use at Furnish College, 45mm by 27. Two pieces approximately 200mm long. To start with, we're going to complete the joint by making a cross halving. The first thing that I want you to do is to take the pieces of wood, take your pencil and to put a face mark and an edge mark on both pieces. The edge should point to the face mark, edge mark. This will give you a datum face that's going to be the top of your workpiece when you have finished. We're going to put these approximately in the middle of each other. We're not going to do any measurement for this job, it's about cutting and using the tools that you see here. Take the two pieces, nib them together so that they are face up on both pieces. Take a sharp pencil, put the pencil point in either side of the top one to make a dot, turn them over, keeping them clamped together with your fingers, put the pencil point in either side of the piece. Notice so far I have not used anything to measure with. Taking the two pieces apart now, keeping them face up, I've got two dots there. I can take my square, put my square onto the stock, move it along by putting my pencil in the dot that I've just made and then drawing the line through. Doing the same again, put the pencil in the dot, put the square up to the pencil, draw the line through. That should give you two accurate lines. We'll continue these lines halfway down, approximately both sides of the joint. Turning the piece over. Oops. And marking the other piece. Same again, put your pencil in the dot. Taking the gauge now, we're going to get the face of the timber and we're going to use the single point of the gauge with the face of the wood on the stock of the gauge. The stock rests on the face, the stick rests on the side, and we're going to set the gauge now to as near as we can halfway through the timber. The first will be a guess. So we put the stock on, put a pinprick in the middle, turn the wood around and see how close we were. You can see there that that's very close indeed. So close that I'm not going to alter it. So marking from the face now, we're going to mark the depth of the joint by pushing and pulling the gauge to form a line. Take the pencil, we can colour the line in. Do the same on the other side, always working from face. It hasn't moved now. It moved. And then working from face on this piece. Make sure the line that you're gauging is deep enough to put a chisel in, not too small. We can now colour all the lines in and shade the piece that we're going to remove. can see now when the faces are both up, the joint has two removable pieces. When you remove those two pieces, the joint should sit together. Cutting the joint. Mount your workpiece high in your vise. Clamp. Taking your tenon saw, cutting on the waist side of the line, just leaving the line slightly visible. Start your saw slowly and then draw your saw back along the line, watching the squareness of your cut down the lines that you've made. Trying to cut exactly down to your gauge line. Again, repeat the process on the other line, cutting inside the waist. Down to your line. Put some waist cuts in. These help break the pieces of timber up when you're chiseling, which is the next operation. Try and make sure that your waist cuts go down to your gauge lines. The chisel. We're going to use the chisel initially with a flat face of the chisel down to do the job. We're going to use a mallet to strike the chisel with. We're going to put the chisel up at an angle and not go right down to the mark we're going to cut. We're going to start a little high. The first cuts should be uphill, chiseling the waist, moving down, then when we get near the bottom, put the chisel in the gauge line and flatten the chisel and strike it a couple of times just to start your line off. Turn the piece around in the vise. Starting high. Okay, started loosening up. I've got a saw cut that I need to deepen here and here. Using the chisel now with the hands, keeping both hands behind the blade, working about halfway through, flattening out the bottom as we go along, turning the piece around in the vise. And cleaning the bottom of the joint flat. The second piece, same principles again, a little quicker this time. Taking the saw, using the saw to cut on the inside of the lines. All the way down to the gauge line, same on the other side. All the way down to the gauge line, 2 relief cuts, picking the chisel up, flat side down, using the mallet, working uphill. Into the joint that we gauged earlier, go slightly in, just about a centimetre or 10 millimetres in good old fashioned money. Turn the workpiece around in the vise. cleaning the bottom of the joint, keeping both hands behind the edge of the chisel. If you get a piece that's not quite cut through, don't chisel it, take a saw, put the saw into the cut to make sure the saw cut is deep enough. Using the chisel in a paring action, again we need a saw cut to get rid of the fluff. Trying the pieces together, face side,